Based on the historical data and forecast, Bitcoin shows a clear uptrend with consistent price increases. The RSI consistently stays above 50, indicating bullish momentum, and the forecast suggests continued upward movement, potentially reaching $101,800. Considering the support price of $95,600 and the recent price action, I recommend a long position strategy. We will enter a long position at $96,500. The stop loss should be set slightly below the support level at $95,000 to protect against potential pullbacks. Our target price will be $101,000, aligning with the forecast and providing a substantial profit margin. To refine this strategy, we will incorporate the Bollinger Bands. When the price touches the bottom band, it signals a potential oversold condition, and when it touches the top band, it signals a potential overbought condition. Given the current price near the upper Bollinger Band, we will use a trailing stop-loss strategy. Initially, the stop-loss will be at $95,000. As the price increases, we will adjust the stop-loss to maintain a buffer of $2,000 below the current price. This will allow us to capture more gains while limiting potential losses. The final target price remains $101,000. Based on the historical data and forecast, Ethereum shows a strong upward trend, consistently testing and breaking through resistance levels. The RSI values have been fluctuating, but recently climbed above 50, indicating increasing bullish momentum. The Bollinger Bands have been widening, suggesting increased volatility and potential for further price movement. Combining these factors, I recommend a long position strategy. We will enter a long position at $1,810, capitalizing on the forecast price and the overall bullish trend. The stop loss will be set at $1,790, just below the established support level, to limit potential losses. The initial target price is $1,840, aligning with the first forecast price, and we will adjust the target price to $1,900 if the price continues to rise. To refine this strategy, we will incorporate RSI signals. When the RSI dips below 30, indicating an oversold condition, we will consider adding to our position at the prevailing market price. Conversely, when the RSI exceeds 70, signaling an overbought condition, we will partially reduce our position to secure profits. This dynamic adjustment, combined with the Bollinger Bands as a volatility indicator, will allow us to maximize returns while managing risk effectively. The final portfolio will be a long position with an entry price of $1,810, a stop loss of $1,790, and a target price of $1,900, incorporating RSI-driven adjustments for optimal performance. Based on the historical data and forecast, XRP shows a slight upward trend. The price has been fluctuating between the support price of $2.13 and the resistance price of $2.22. The RSI indicates that XRP is currently in a neutral range, with values fluctuating between 46.3 and 60.8. Considering the Bollinger Bands, the price has been mostly within the bands, suggesting moderate volatility. We will implement a combined strategy leveraging RSI and Bollinger Bands for optimal returns. Our strategy involves a long position when the RSI dips below 40 and the price touches the lower Bollinger Band. We will enter a long position at $2.18, placing a stop-loss order at $2.13, just below the support level. The initial target price will be $2.3, aligning with the upper Bollinger Band and a previous resistance level. If the price reaches $2.3, we will move the stop-loss to the entry price of $2.18 to secure profits and manage risk. This combined strategy aims to capitalize on short-term price dips while benefiting from the overall upward trend. Based on the historical data and forecast, BNB shows a slight upward trend with support at $592 and resistance at $618. The RSI fluctuates around 50, indicating neither overbought nor oversold conditions. The Bollinger Bands suggest periods of volatility, with prices occasionally touching the upper and lower bands. Given this, I propose a combined strategy leveraging RSI and Bollinger Bands. We will initiate a long position when the price touches the lower Bollinger Band and the RSI falls below 30. For example, if the price reaches $577 and the RSI is 28, enter a long position at $577. Place a stop-loss order at $572, just below the lower Bollinger Band, to limit potential losses. Set a target price at $600, aiming for a profit of $23. To further refine the strategy, we'll incorporate the forecast data. If the forecast price for May 8, 2025, is $599 and the RSI is below 30, we can enter a long position at $599. The stop loss will be at $594, and the target price will be $603. This combined approach balances the historical trend with short-term volatility signals, maximizing potential returns while managing risk. This strategy aims for high returns by capitalizing on temporary price dips while considering the overall upward trajectory of BNB. Based on the historical data and forecast, Solana exhibits an overall upward trend, consistently staying above the support price of $139. The RSI fluctuates, currently at 62.6, indicating a slightly bullish momentum but not yet overbought. The Bollinger Bands show that the current price is approaching the upper band, suggesting potential resistance around $158 in the near future. Given these observations, I recommend a long position strategy. We will enter a long position at $151, placing a stop-loss order at $147 to limit potential losses if the price reverses. The initial target price will be $157, aligning with the upper Bollinger Band and recent forecast. To refine the strategy, we'll incorporate RSI signals. If the RSI drops below 30, indicating an oversold condition, we'll consider adding to the position at the prevailing price, with a revised stop-loss placed just below the entry price. Conversely, if the RSI reaches 80 or above, suggesting an overbought scenario, we'll consider taking partial profits at $158 and tightening the stop-loss to protect gains. This adaptive approach, combining trend analysis, Bollinger Bands, and RSI signals, aims to maximize returns while managing risk effectively. The portfolio will be 60% long position, 20% RSI signals, and 20% Bollinger Bands. Based on the historical data and forecast, Dogecoin shows an upward trend. The price has consistently traded within the Bollinger Bands, indicating volatility. The RSI readings fluctuate around 50, suggesting neither overbought nor oversold conditions for most of the period. However, the forecast data suggests a continued upward trajectory, with prices hovering around $0.178 to $0.181. Considering these factors, I propose a long position strategy with an entry price of $0.178. To manage risk, set a stop-loss at $0.173, which is the support level. For the target price, aim for $0.181, aligning with the forecast and the upper end of the recent trading range. To enhance the strategy, I incorporate the RSI indicator. If the price dips and the RSI falls below 20, consider accumulating more Dogecoin at $0.177 with a stop-loss at $0.173 and a target price of $0.18. Conversely, if the RSI reaches 80 or above, consider taking profits at $0.179, with a stop-loss at $0.175. This blended approach combines trend following with momentum-based signals, maximizing potential returns while mitigating downside risk. The portfolio is weighted 60% towards the trend-following strategy and 40% towards the RSI-based strategy to optimize for high returns. Based on the historical data and forecast, Cardano shows a slight upward trend, consolidating between the support of $0.701 and the resistance of $0.738. The RSI fluctuates between 45.0 and 61.5, indicating periods of both oversold and overbought conditions. The Bollinger Bands suggest volatility, with prices occasionally touching the upper and lower bands. Considering these factors, I propose a strategy that combines trend following and momentum trading. We will initiate a long position when the RSI dips below 30, targeting the resistance level of $0.738. The entry price will be $0.708 on May 2, 2025, with a stop-loss set at $0.696 to protect against a potential reversal. To maximize potential gains, we will implement a tiered target strategy. The initial target is $0.738, representing the resistance level. If the price reaches this target, we will move the stop loss to the entry price of $0.708, securing a risk-free profit. If the price continues to rise, we will set a second target at $0.741, based on the forecast data for May 8, 2025. This strategy aims to capitalize on the upward trend while managing risk through strategic stop-loss placement and tiered profit targets. The portfolio will be 60% long position and 40% cash. Based on the historical data and forecast, TRON shows a sideways trend with price fluctuations between the support of $0.239 and resistance of $0.248. The RSI fluctuates around 50, indicating indecision. The Bollinger Bands have been narrowing, suggesting a potential breakout. Considering the forecast prices are slightly increasing, I recommend a moderately bullish strategy. We will initiate a long position when the price touches the support level of $0.24. The stop loss will be set just below the support at $0.238 to mitigate potential losses. The initial target price will be the resistance level of $0.247. To refine the strategy, we will incorporate the RSI and Bollinger Bands. If the RSI falls below 30 near the support level, indicating an oversold condition, we will enter a long position at $0.24. The stop loss will remain at $0.238. If the price breaks above the upper Bollinger Band, we will move the stop loss to the center of the Bollinger Bands, currently around $0.244, and adjust the target price to $0.25. This adaptive strategy aims to capitalize on both potential breakouts and bounces off the support level, maximizing returns while managing risk. Based on the historical data and forecast, Sui shows a clear uptrend, consistently breaking through resistance levels. The RSI indicates that the asset has been in overbought territory for the past several days, fluctuating between 63 and 77. The Bollinger Bands also confirm this upward trend, with the price consistently trading above the moving average. Considering these factors, I recommend a long position. We will enter a long position at $3.51, placing a stop-loss order at $3.4 to limit potential losses. The initial target price will be $3.76, aligning with the forecast for May 8, 2025. To refine this strategy, we will incorporate an RSI-based exit point. If the RSI falls below 60, indicating a potential pullback, we will adjust the target price to $3.68. The strategy combines trend analysis, forecast data, and technical indicators to maximize potential returns while managing risk. This approach prioritizes capital preservation while capitalizing on the ongoing upward momentum of Sui. Based on the historical data and forecast, Chainlink shows an upward trend, consistently testing and bouncing off the support price of $14.3. The RSI fluctuates but generally remains above 50, indicating a bullish momentum. The Bollinger Bands have been widening, suggesting increased volatility and potential for price movement. Considering the forecast for the next week, which predicts prices around $14.7 to $15.0, I recommend a long position strategy. We will enter a long position at $14.7 with a stop-loss order at $14.3 to protect against a potential downside reversal. The initial target price will be $15, aiming to capitalize on the predicted upward movement. To refine the strategy, we will incorporate the RSI and Bollinger Bands. If the RSI dips below 30, signaling an oversold condition, we will consider accumulating more positions at $14.6. Conversely, if the price touches the upper Bollinger Band, indicating an overbought condition, we will take partial profits at $14.8. The overall portfolio will prioritize the long position with an initial entry at $14.7, a stop-loss at $14.3, and a primary target at $15, adjusting based on RSI and Bollinger Band signals for enhanced returns. Based on the historical data and forecast, the graph demonstrates an overall upward trend, with price fluctuations within a defined range. The RSI consistently remains above the oversold level of 20, indicating a generally bullish sentiment. The Bollinger Bands show that the price has been approaching the upper band, suggesting a potential for further upward movement. Considering these factors, I propose a long position strategy. I recommend entering a long position at $0.0985, coinciding with the initial forecast price. Set a stop-loss order at $0.0961, just below the recent low and the lower Bollinger Band, to limit potential losses. A target price of $0.102 is set, aligning with the forecast price and the upper Bollinger Band, representing a reasonable profit target. To enhance this strategy, I suggest incorporating the RSI indicator. If the price retraces and the RSI falls below 40, consider adding to the position at $0.0992, with the stop-loss adjusted to the entry price. Conversely, if the RSI reaches 80 or higher, consider taking partial profits at $0.101. This layered approach allows for capitalizing on both upward momentum and mitigating risk. The portfolio should prioritize the long position with adjustments based on RSI signals, aiming for consistent gains within the established support and resistance levels. Based on the historical data and forecast, Dogecoin shows an upward trend. The price has consistently traded within the Bollinger Bands, indicating volatility. The RSI readings fluctuate around 50, suggesting neither overbought nor oversold conditions for most of the period. However, the forecast data suggests a continued upward trajectory, with prices hovering around $0.178 to $0.181. Considering these factors, I propose a long position strategy with an entry price of $0.178. To manage risk, set a stop-loss at $0.173, which is the support level. For the target price, aim for $0.181, aligning with the forecast and the upper end of the recent trading range. To enhance the strategy, I incorporate the RSI indicator. If the price dips and the RSI falls below 20, consider accumulating more Dogecoin at $0.177 with a stop-loss at $0.173 and a target price of $0.18. Conversely, if the RSI reaches 80 or above, consider taking profits at $0.179, with a stop-loss at $0.175. This blended approach combines trend following with momentum-based signals, maximizing potential returns while mitigating downside risk. The portfolio is weighted 60% towards the trend-following strategy and 40% towards the RSI-based strategy to optimize for high returns. Based on the historical data and forecast, Immutable demonstrates an overall upward trend, supported by the consistent rise in the forecast prices from May 2, 2025, to May 8, 2025. The RSI values fluctuate between 44.7 and 67.7, indicating periods of both oversold and overbought conditions. Considering the recent upward momentum and the forecast, I recommend a long position with an entry price of $0.58. To mitigate risk, set a stop-loss at $0.56, aligning with the established support level. A reasonable target price would be $0.609, based on the forecast for May 8, 2025. The strategy combines the trend analysis and forecast data to capitalize on the anticipated price increase. To refine the strategy, we'll incorporate the Bollinger Bands. The price has been consistently trading within the bands, suggesting moderate volatility. If the price approaches the bottom of the Bollinger Bands, it signals a potential oversold condition, which could be an opportunity to enter a long position. Conversely, if the price touches the top of the Bollinger Bands, it indicates an overbought condition, suggesting a potential short-term pullback. Therefore, the final portfolio strategy is to enter a long position at $0.58, set a stop-loss at $0.56, and target a price of $0.609. This strategy balances the potential for high returns with effective risk management. Based on the historical data and forecast, Aave shows a clear uptrend. The price has been consistently bouncing off the support level of $164 and attempting to break through the resistance of $190. The RSI values fluctuate between 42 and 62, indicating neither extreme oversold nor overbought conditions. The Bollinger Bands show a narrowing trend, suggesting increasing volatility. Considering these factors, I recommend a long position with an entry price of $169. The stop loss should be set just below the support level at $163 to limit potential losses. The initial target price should be the resistance level at $190, aiming for a substantial profit. To refine this strategy, I incorporate the RSI and Bollinger Band signals. When the price dips near the bottom of the Bollinger Bands and the RSI falls below 30, it signals a potential oversold condition, which is not present in this case. However, the forecast indicates a price increase to $184. Therefore, I adjust the target price to $184. This portfolio combines trend analysis, support and resistance levels, and technical indicators for a balanced approach. This strategy aims for high returns by capitalizing on the ongoing uptrend while mitigating risk with a well-defined stop loss. Based on the historical data and forecast, Injective shows a generally upward trend, consistently bouncing off the support price of $9.57 and testing the resistance around $10.3. The RSI fluctuates between 42.0 and 66.3, indicating periods of both oversold and overbought conditions. The Bollinger Bands have been widening recently, suggesting increased volatility and potential for price swings. Considering these factors, I recommend a strategy that combines trend following with mean reversion. We'll initiate a long position when the RSI dips below 30, anticipating a bounce from the support level of $9.57. Specifically, let's implement a three-tiered strategy. First, when the RSI falls below 30, enter a long position at $9.57, setting a stop loss at $9.4 to protect against a potential breakdown. The initial target price is $10.3, near the resistance level. If the price reaches $10.3, we'll move the stop loss to the center of the Bollinger Bands, currently around $8.96, and set a second target price at $10.5, aligning with the forecast. Finally, if the price reaches $10.5, we'll consider taking partial profits and trailing the stop loss to protect gains, aiming for a final target of $10.7. This approach balances the potential for high returns with risk management, capitalizing on the upward trend while mitigating downside risk. Based on the historical data and forecast, SAY shows a clear upward trend. The price has consistently been moving towards the resistance level of $0.234. The forecast for the next week predicts continued growth, with prices reaching $0.236. The RSI consistently above 50 indicates a bullish momentum, with values nearing 70 in recent days. Considering the Bollinger Bands, the price is currently trading near the upper band, suggesting a strong uptrend. Therefore, I recommend a long position strategy. My strategy involves entering a long position at $0.215, coinciding with the support level and a potential bounce. The stop loss will be set at $0.208, just below the recent low and the lower Bollinger Band, to limit potential losses. The initial target price will be $0.231, aligning with the forecasted peak and the previous resistance. If the price breaks through $0.231, I will adjust the target price to $0.236, based on the forecast. This strategy combines support and resistance levels, RSI signals, and Bollinger Bands to maximize potential returns while minimizing risk. The portfolio will prioritize this long position due to its high probability setup and potential for substantial gains. Based on the historical data and forecast, Litecoin exhibits an overall upward trend, supported by consistently breaching the 83.5 support level and approaching the 91.0 resistance. The RSI values fluctuate, but generally remain above 40, indicating a bullish momentum. The Bollinger Bands show the price recently moving towards the upper band, suggesting continued upward pressure. Considering these factors, I propose a long position strategy. We will enter a long position at $86.5 on May 2, 2025. The stop loss will be set at $83.5, just below the established support level, to mitigate potential losses. The initial target price will be $89.4, aligning with the forecast for May 8, 2025. To refine this strategy, we'll incorporate RSI and Bollinger Band signals. If the RSI dips below 30, indicating an oversold condition, we'll consider a secondary entry at the prevailing price, with a slightly adjusted stop loss at $84 and a target price of $90. Conversely, if the price touches the lower Bollinger Band, it signals a potential buying opportunity. If the price reaches the upper Bollinger Band, it suggests a potential profit-taking opportunity. This combined approach, prioritizing the initial long position and incorporating RSI and Bollinger Band confirmations, aims to maximize returns while managing risk effectively. Based on the historical data and forecast, Arweave exhibits an overall upward trend, consistently testing and breaching resistance levels. The RSI consistently fluctuates, but generally remains above the oversold level of 20, indicating bullish momentum. The Bollinger Bands show a widening trend, suggesting increasing volatility and potential for price movement. Considering these factors, I recommend a long position strategy. We will enter a long position at $7.1, coinciding with the support price and a potential bounce back point. To mitigate risk, we will set a stop-loss order at $6.8, slightly below the support level. Our initial target price will be $7.5, aligning with the upper Bollinger Band and a reasonable profit expectation. To optimize returns, we will implement a dynamic strategy adjusting our target price based on further price action. If the price reaches $7.5, we will move our stop-loss to $7.3 to lock in profits and reduce risk. Subsequently, we will set a new target price of $7.8, aiming to capitalize on the upward momentum. This strategy combines RSI, Bollinger Bands, and support/resistance levels to maximize potential gains while minimizing downside risk. The RSI readings suggest that the asset is not significantly overbought, allowing for further upward movement. The forecast prices also support the upward trend, with consistent increases over the next week. Based on the historical data and forecast, Quant demonstrates a clear uptrend. The price has consistently moved above the Bollinger Band center and has tested the resistance level of $88.4. The RSI indicator has fluctuated but generally remained above 50, indicating bullish momentum. Considering the forecast for the next week, with prices predicted to rise from $77.5 to $84.6, a long position is warranted. I suggest entering a long position at $77.5. To manage risk, set a stop-loss order at $79.4, just below the established support level. The initial target price should be $84.6, aligning with the forecast high for the week. To maximize potential returns, I recommend a layered approach. After reaching the initial target of $84.6, consider moving the stop-loss to the entry price of $77.5 to secure profits and protect against potential downside. Further, if the price continues to rise, set a second target at $88.4, the resistance level. This layered strategy combines the momentum from the RSI and Bollinger Bands with the support and resistance levels to optimize both profit potential and risk management. The portfolio will be 60% long position, 20% for RSI strategy, and 20% for Bollinger Band strategy. Based on the historical data and forecast, Sonic, Prev FTM, shows a generally upward trend, particularly evident in the recent days. The RSI values have been fluctuating but recently crossed above 60, indicating an overbought condition, but the forecast suggests continued upward momentum. The Bollinger Bands have been widening, indicating increased volatility, and the price has consistently tested the upper band. Considering this, I propose a long position strategy focusing on capitalizing on the predicted upward movement while mitigating risk. My strategy involves entering a long position at $0.53, coinciding with the start of the forecast period. Given the recent overbought RSI and the widening Bollinger Bands, a conservative stop-loss is set at $0.515, just below the lower Bollinger Band. The initial target price is $0.555, aligning with the forecast for May 8, 2025. If the price continues to rise beyond this target, we can consider adjusting the target price to $0.56. This strategy combines the upward trend, forecast data, and technical indicators to maximize potential returns while managing risk through strategic stop-loss placement.